Welcome to our Best Friends National Conference volunteer orientation video. We're so glad that you have volunteered to help us to put on this very important animal welfare event. I really appreciate you tuning in to learn about volunteering at the conference. Even if you're returning to this event, I promise to provide you with some new information during this presentation. The Best Friends National Conference is actually more than a conference. It's a community of people with a heart for animals and a desire to help them. In the past, when we gave this presentation, we would tell volunteers that every day 9,000 pets are killed in America's shelters. We are now able to update that number to 5,500 cats and dogs killed a day, or approximately 2 million per year. It's still too high, and our work isn't done, but things are working, and it's a big accomplishment. There are many reasons why cats and dogs are killed in shelters, but there are even more solutions that could prevent this. At the Best Friends National Conference, our conference attendees will learn from leading experts in no-kill initiatives, from the basics to cutting-edge strategies, leaving with the energy and tools they need to help save them all in their communities. You are playing a key role in helping us to put on this very exciting and very important event. Best Friends National Conference is one of the most uplifting events of the year in animal welfare. It's for people in animal welfare to come together to be energized, educated, motivated, and inspired. And I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy helping us to put it on. In 2001, Best Friends held its first conference in Virginia Beach, Virginia, with 300 attendees. This year, at the Westin Bonaventure in Los Angeles, we're expecting 1,200 to 1,400 participants, which includes you and over 175 other volunteers. All the volunteers at the conference are being coordinated by the Best Friends National Volunteer Team. Here's a fun photo of us. My name is Sandy Golding, and I'm the one on the left. I'll be on site working with you throughout the conference. We've probably communicated through email several times at this point. If you run into any issues during the conference and you contact us at bfvolcord@bestfriends.org, Kim and Brandy, who are also in this photo, will be responding to you. If you've been communicating with me via my personal email address, please note I will not be able to check it after July 16th. But if you contact our shared email address, the bfvolcord@bestfriends.org email, one of us will be able to get back to you in a timely manner. Since we're a nonprofit, you may have guessed that we just can't put on an event of this size without the help of a lot of volunteers, including volunteers that will be leading the various teams that everyone is assigned to. Most of our volunteer roles fall into one of these 5 teams: assembly, registration, hospitality, session rooms, and Save Them All Networking Hub. All of our teams are led by team leaders that are also volunteers. You will check in and out for all of your shifts in the room Beaudry A on the lobby level. This is our volunteer room at the Westin, with a few exceptions. If you are volunteering at a different location, such as the loading shift before assembly, for the Yaps and Apps social on Saturday night, or for the post-conference trips on Sunday, you will have different instructions on where to check in. One of the things you received from me, along with the link to this webinar, are the venue maps. Here's a part of that map. Notice the volunteer room is Beaudry A on the lobby level, on the left side of this map. It is important to mention the Westin Conference Center spans 4 floors, so you may have to volunteer on different floors, depending on what your volunteer position is. Room monitors will be working on this floor and on the third floor, where the other session rooms are located. Hospitality volunteers will be working among all 4 floors to assist the conference participants with directions and information. Registration volunteers will be working in the registration area on level 2. This year, we won't have an exhibit hall, but we will have a Save Them All networking hub with a sponsor area and networking lounge on level 2. In the Save Them All networking hub, we will have our Best Friends store, our Best Friends share space, and our conference sponsors. New this year, we will have Ask an Expert consultations that will be happening at specific times in the networking lounge area of the Save Them All networking hub. For those of you volunteering with the consultations registration for the Ask an Expert consultations, or if you are a consultation door volunteer, a consultation runner volunteer, or consultation timer volunteer, you will be volunteering at the networking lounge. As I mentioned before, room monitors will be working in the breakout session rooms on 2 levels, either on the lobby level or here on level 3. We will also have hospitality volunteers working in the corridors to direct attendees to the bathrooms or assist attendees with directions. Hospitality volunteers will also be working on the lobby on the level below the lobby, helping set up the lunchroom, checking badges when attendees arrive for breakfast or lunch, and directing attendees to the lunchroom. For conference parking, we will be able to provide validation tickets for discounted parking for the volunteers. You will need to get your parking validation tickets at the conference registration desk. Self-parking rates in the City National Parking Garage will be anywhere from $10 to $15 per day with a validation ticket. The cost will be determined by your arrival and departure time. There's also an option for day rate valet parking at the Westin for $24 with a validation ticket. Please be aware that you will need a separate validation ticket for each time you park. I now want to turn to an overview of the conference related to the volunteer component. I've already mentioned Wednesday's setup. Some of you are meeting Tuesday evening at the storage unit to load all of our supplies into our truck. On Wednesday, we'll have several shifts of volunteers meeting us at the Westin for setup and assembly in the morning. At 7 a.m., we will have volunteers setting up the Best Friends share space. At 9 a.m., we'll be unloading the truck. Then at 10 a.m., we'll get busy on the signage, name badges, and other projects. We'll take a break from 12 to 1 for lunch. And please be aware that we're not able to provide volunteer shirts for our setup and assembly volunteers. At 1 p.m., we'll finish everything that hasn't been done yet. We'll also be putting together gift bags for our member appreciation event that will be held later on in the evening. At 4 p.m., we'll have our registration and hospitality teams start. And additional volunteers will assist with a special member appreciation event at 5 p.m. The conference begins on Thursday morning and registration will open at 8 a.m. That means our registration and hospitality teams will be arriving bright and early before then in order to be in place to be the smiling faces that welcome our guests at 8. Session room monitors and Save Them All networking hub volunteers will arrive a little bit later. Please be sure to double-check the times of the shifts you've signed up for in the volunteer system. On Friday, we will have the same teams working, but in a lot of cases with different volunteers. And the same applies for Saturday. Saturday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. is the closing session. You are all invited to attend this. I really recommend it, as it is always motivating and inspiring. In 2016, Julie Castle announced Best Friends' landmark goal to get the entire country to no-kill by 2025. This year, we're excited to have Julie back, along with other special guests. So trust me, this is not to be missed. The volunteer room will be packed up Saturday once everyone checks out, so make sure you pick up any belongings before the closing session. There will be some other special events taking place that some of you are helping with, starting on Wednesday and running through Sunday afternoon. If you are assisting with the YAPS and APS social on Saturday night, or the post-conference trips on Sunday, please make sure you get a t-shirt and name tag from me in the volunteer room on Saturday afternoon before 3 p.m. We'll be packing up the volunteer room Saturday night and shipping it back to Utah on Sunday morning. I want to take a moment to talk about the Save Them All Networking Hub. Our Save Them All Networking Hub opens Friday at 11 a.m. for 3 hours and is also open on Saturday from noon until 2 p.m. As a volunteer with the conference, you can access the Save Them All Networking Hub when it is open, even if you're not volunteering in it. You'll just need to make sure you are wearing your volunteer shirt and name tag. There will be a welcome reception in the Networking Hub on Thursday evening, and I do need to mention that the welcome reception is for the conference attendees. It's not for us, the volunteer department staff and volunteers. It's our job to put on this event, not to attend the reception. The people that register to attend the conference pay to participate in special events as part of the registration fee, and the welcome reception is covered by part of that fee. There are some other things going on that I want to mention because I do want to invite you to these. On Friday night, from 6:30 to 8 p.m., we will have a Bow Wow Film Festival, and volunteers are invited to view the short films that we'll be showing. As I mentioned on a previous slide, everyone is invited to the closing session Saturday at 3:30 p.m. in the San Francisco room. The YAPS and APS social is Saturday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Westin Plaza pool deck. We are offering all volunteers a special 50% discount to this event. If you'd like to attend, please purchase a $20 ticket from me in the volunteer room. Because we have to let catering know a number that will be attending, please RSVP to me by emailing bfvolcord@bestfriends.org before July 14th if you want to attend. You won't need to pay in advance. You can pay for the ticket once you're at the conference. You've all signed up for your shifts via the schedule in our volunteer system. So please plan to arrive a few minutes early for each shift so you can get checked in and you're ready to go at the start of the shift. And hopefully you can get there at least 15 minutes early for your first shift, as that will give you a few minutes to change into a volunteer shirt if you need one and get your name tag. Because the volunteer shifts are located on 4 different levels, it may take you some time to get to your volunteer location. Also, it may be a bit of a walk to get from parking to the conference center, so please keep these things in mind as you plan for your arrival times. As I mentioned before, discounted parking is available to Best Friends National Conference volunteers with validation tickets. The validation tickets can be obtained at the conference registration desk. I mentioned earlier that volunteers have access to the Save Them All networking hub when it is open. And you also have access to attend a conference session if you have a break between volunteering. For people that mainly want to attend conference sessions, we always suggest that you actually register for the conference instead of volunteering. As I mentioned earlier, it's the volunteers that are the ones helping us to put on this event, not really participating in the event itself. So it's not appropriate for you to come back to the conference center on a day when you're not volunteering. Again, if you'd really rather attend the conference, online registration may have closed, but you can register on-site on Thursday. So just let us know and cancel your volunteer shifts in the system. We won't have a secure place for personal belongings, so please leave your valuables at home. Myself or the volunteer lead assistant will be in the volunteer room most of the time, so theoretically, you could leave something there. However, we can't take responsibility for personal items. A small fanny pack is acceptable to wear, and then of course your pockets are also a good place to store things such as your ID, cash, keys, etc. You will be given breaks, especially those of you that have signed up for multiple shifts during a day. We will have some snacks, water, and light box lunches available in the volunteer room. All of the food at the conference is plant-based. The Westin does not allow us to bring in outside food, so we're relying on the venue and have ordered everything from their catering office. And even though I just said that we're not allowed to bring in outside food as an individual, as long as you're discreet about it, I don't see an issue with you bringing a small or light snack with you, especially if you have special dietary needs. And I do need to let you know about something that comes up every year. Volunteers wonder why we don't supply bottled water. We instead rely on the water service at the convention center, so you'll have access to water in cups. The reason for this is that a bottle of water that we would have to order for you from catering is over $3 a bottle. This conference is not a profit center for us. We don't put it on to make money. We put it on to educate people to save animal lives, and we try to keep the registration costs down as much as we can so more people can afford to attend, to save more animals. And so that's the reason why we're quite careful with what we spend. This is our volunteer t-shirt, front and back view. If any of you volunteered with us at a Strut Your Mutt, a Super Adoption, the conference, or other event or role in the last couple of years, it's the same orange shirt. So please bring and wear yours if you already have one, because it's possible we will run out. And by reusing a shirt, you are helping us to make sure we have one for someone else. As I mentioned in the previous slide, the conference isn't a profit center for Best Friends. When volunteers reuse shirts from previous events and activities, it helps us save money for the animals. If needed, you will receive your shirt from me when you check in for your first shift. We used to be able to provide 2 shirts for volunteers who are coming from out of town, but we've had more volunteer shifts to fill than expected and need to limit the number we're giving out to make sure we have enough. So if you have other Best Friends attire, please feel free to bring that as a backup if necessary. Just FYI, the team leads will be in this same shirt, but it will be black. So keep in mind that if you ever need assistance, you can go to any of the volunteer leads in a black shirt or any Best Friends staff, but the staff will actually be a bit more difficult to identify. If you've been to functions in hotels and conference centers, you may remember that with crowds comes air conditioning. It might be a bit chilly in the conference center, so feel free to wear something under your shirt, such as a turtleneck or other long-sleeved black or white shirt. These are volunteers from previous conferences. Susie on the left is just wearing her t-shirt, and Jill on the right has another shirt on underneath. Those are a different shade of orange from several years ago. And that's not Jill's puppy, by the way, but rather a puppy that was brought on stage for a short time in the opening general session that year. The Westin Hotel is pet friendly, but we do ask that you refrain from bringing your pets for your volunteer shift at the conference. Also, our first choice in pants is that you wear slacks or black jeans rather than blue jeans. However, I'm not saying you have to go out and buy new pants. If what you have is blue jeans, then blue jeans will be fine. The goal is for volunteers to offer a casual, professional experience. I will tell you that a lot of conference attendees will be very casual, but we're there doing a job and we want to present a professional appearance. And please be sure to wear comfortable shoes too, as most of the volunteer positions will require that you be on your feet. As a quick review, when you check in with me in Beaudry A, I'll check you in so your hours are counted. I'll give you a name tag and a volunteer shirt, unless you brought your own from a past event. Then we'll get you connected with your team leader for training. I do ask that you also check out and leave your name tag when you're done with your shifts for the day, as the name tags are difficult to reprint if they get lost. Please keep in mind that I have between 2 to 30 volunteers checking in or out at any time. So there may be moments when you're waiting for me or your team lead. We thank you for your patience in advance. I really value the time you are donating, and I will do my best to make sure that none of it is wasted. Our goal is to give attendees, exhibitors, and speakers the best possible experience so that they feel energized, motivated, educated, and inspired. If you hear a complaint, even a minor one, take note of the person's name and make sure to let your team leader or our conference manager, Kathy Myers, know as soon as possible. Many people work and volunteer in animal welfare, and we want to make sure that we're accommodating everyone's needs. As we mentioned before, pets are permitted in the Westin Hotel. I want to remind you, if someone has a service animal, you cannot ask about the person's disability or require documentation. In the past, we've had attendees ask for accommodations like allowing them to go into the sessions early so they can get a seat near the front where they can see, or having chairs rearranged to make room for their wheelchair or walker. Please be helpful and accommodate people if you receive similar requests. Don't ask someone to sit elsewhere to make it easier for you to arrange the chairs. It's not right to isolate someone from the people they came with or want to sit near. When speaking about people with disabilities, please remember to focus on their abilities and individual qualities. Portray them as they are in real life, as parents, neighbors, employees, business owners, etc. Make reference to the person first, then the disability. Say something like, a person with a disability rather than a disabled person. This is called person-first language. Lastly, please don't patronize or idolize individuals with disabilities. They are people living their daily lives just like everyone else. Best Friends was started in southern Utah over 30 years ago by over 20 friends who believed that killing animals because they didn't have homes was wrong. They believed in the golden rule and kindness, and all of their work over the years has been based on these two guiding principles. Another guiding principle is good effects. To judge our effectiveness by the extent to which animal lives are saved and improved, and by the positive experience of the people we touch. The animals can't help themselves. They're waiting on us. It's up to us to make positive impacts, and we do that by having good effects on other people. Next is leadership. You've raised your hand to help. You're leading by example. Authenticity is doing what we say we do, and transparency is being open and honest in our relationships. These are the principles that guide us all, whether we're employees or volunteers, while we're representing Best Friends. These are more than just words on a slide. We really believe in and follow these principles. As a representative of Best Friends, you are expected to uphold the highest standards of conduct. Please be professional in all of your interactions with the public and each other. Help to make the experience a good one, and make it a very top-notch professional event. We're professionals with a very serious mission and a very serious task at hand. Keep a positive attitude and never make disparaging comments about any person or group, local or national. Being positive is key to turning people on rather than turning people off. We want to attract people and give them hope and make them feel good about their interactions with us. Be responsible for the quality of your individual contacts. You cannot control what others do, but you can be responsible for quality in all you do. Be friendly, helpful, and courteous. Customer service is the name of the game. Make the conference attendees feel comfortable and welcome. Common courtesy goes a long way toward making a positive impression. Be knowledgeable. The public sees you as a Best Friends representative. So please make sure you're giving out accurate information. Please check with your team leader if anyone's asking you something you don't know. And be prepared to be thanked and told how much you are loved. As soon as you put on that t-shirt, you are Best Friends, and people won't know if it's your first or your 50th time volunteering. Remember, you're the face of Best Friends. You are representing the Best Friends brand, a brand about which many people have very good feelings. Their good feelings about the brand will ultimately save lives. People will be supportive of Best Friends because of how they feel about the Best Friends brand, even if they're not consciously thinking about it as a brand. So every one of us needs to support the brand, and that ties back to those guiding principles and customer service standards that guide us as we work with Best Friends. Many of the conference attendees are volunteers for other organizations just like yourself. Some of them are even network partners. The No More Homeless Pets Network is made up of hundreds of shelters, rescue groups, and other animal welfare organizations from all across the country that are committed to saving the lives of homeless pets through effective adoption, spay-neuter, and intake prevention programs. The network was built upon Best Friends Animal Society's belief that collaboration is one of the keys to ending the killing of dogs and cats in America's shelters. Together, we are leading the way by inspiring communities and implementing proven methods that show the country that no kill is possible. We couldn't reach our goals without our amazing network partners. So if you spot someone with a purple ribbon, make sure to share the gratitude and love by thanking them for all the hard work they do in their community. Each year, we try and do a service project for a local network partner. This year, we'll have the service project set up in the Save Them All networking hub, and we'll be making no-sew pet beds on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday when the networking hub is open. Even though this is an event where there will be people everywhere you look, you're doing this for the animals. That's what we all have in common, our love for the animals. Even though we've put a lot of planning into this event, if something doesn't go exactly right, please be patient and please be flexible. Patience and flexibility are key. Remember, we can deal with a lot if it means the animals will benefit. These are two volunteers from our 2013 conference in Jacksonville. We've been switching between the east and the west side of the country since 2013. This is our first time holding the conference in Los Angeles, and we're so excited to be here and so proud of all the amazing work our network partners, the Best Friends LA staff, and the No Kill LA team have done locally. I mentioned earlier that we want the conference attendees to leave feeling educated and energized and motivated and inspired. I think you will also feel these things once it's over. We want this to be a really great experience for you, and we can't thank you enough for helping us and for everything you're doing for the animals. This conference is a light in the darkness that we sometimes see in animal welfare. People are coming to the conference to light their light from ours. Your job is to be light, because together we can illuminate the world. Together we will save them all. Thank you for attending this orientation, and I look forward to seeing you at the conference in LA.